There's a growing awareness these days that our existing economic theories, practices, and institutions are not working. The wealth gap between the elites and the masses grows ever larger. Debt burdens continually increase, threatening the solvency of individuals, corporations, and entire countries. The global economy lurches from one crisis to the next, each one larger and more destructive than the last. And our constant pursuit of growth puts us on a collision course with the laws of nature. More and more people are coming to the conclusion that incremental change is no longer sufficient and that we need a fundamental paradigm shift. Despite the unprecedented nature of the challenges we face, most of the solutions that are proposed are just more of the same. Economic debate these days is like a team sport with only two teams. On one side are those who believe in free markets and attribute our problems to an overly intrusive government. And on the other side are those who believe capitalism is evil and needs to be replaced by government control of the economy. The problem is that neither of these teams has a historical track record of generating good economic results. Countries which embrace capitalism often have strong wealth creation, but most of that wealth goes to a small group at the top, leaving the majority struggling and insecure. While those who have pursued socialism or communism have generally seen standards of living stagnate or collapse. Believing that either of these systems can solve our problems is an exercise in repeating the same actions but expecting different results. The Silvio Gesell Foundation is dedicated to the belief that the best way forward will not be found by choosing between capitalism or socialism. Rather, we believe that what's necessary is an integrated approach that draws on the best aspects of both systems. Furthermore, it's our belief that such an approach isn't something that lies in the unknown future, but rather is something that has existed for over 100 years, specifically in the economic theories and proposals of Silvio Gesell. Gesell is a name that most people have never even heard of. There are no political parties advancing his proposals, and there are just a small handful of university economics departments that even mention his name. But that wasn't always the case. In the most influential economics book of the 20th century, John Maynard Keynes spent 5 pages discussing Gesell's ideas and referred to him as an unduly neglected prophet. Irving Fisher of Yale University, the intellectual godfather of the New Deal and the most famous American economist of the first half of the 20th century, endorsed Gesell's ideas and referred to himself as a humble servant of the merchant Gesell. Even Albert Einstein was a friend and admirer who predicted that Gesell's ideas would lead to, quote, a different and more real kind of property. Gesell's perspective is both revolutionary and simple. Essentially, he says that the core idea of the free market system is theoretically sound. However, he argues that that system has never yet been properly implemented. This is a critical point because the failings of the capitalist system are obvious and undeniable. However, that does not necessarily mean that the idea of using markets as the primary vehicle for providing for society's material needs is flawed. If, as Gesell argues, the failures of capitalism are due to errors of implementation, attempting to solve our problems by taking control of the economy away from markets and handing it over to the government risks doing more harm than good by throwing out the baby with the bathwater. To be more specific, Gesell says that there are 2 fundamental flaws which have prevented the free market system from delivering on its promises of robust wealth creation, broad-based prosperity, economic stability, and sustainable development. Those 2 flaws are our systems of money and land ownership. Both money and land cause what Gesell refers to as unearned income. In other words, they cause wealth to flow into the pockets of people who have not contributed to the creation of that wealth. And obviously, if wealth is being siphoned off by those who have not created it, there's not enough left over to fairly compensate those who have. According to Gesell, this is the cause of insufficient wages and ever-increasing wealth inequality. But the harmful effects of unearned income go way beyond wages and wealth distribution. Gesell also shows how unearned income is the primary cause of chronic economic instability, recurring crises, and extractive economic practices that threaten to destroy the environment. Gesell argues that if we fix our systems of money and land ownership, the apparent contradiction between the free market system and socialism will be revealed to be an illusion. In fact, he says that the perfection of the free market system is the only way to actually realize the ideals of socialism. He provides a radical new way of understanding the processes of wealth creation and distribution, which shows that the free market system and socialism are not opposed or mutually exclusive. They are in fact consistent and complementary. Granted, those are some pretty bold claims. At first, they will strike most people as unrealistic and utopian. However, our organization is dedicated to making the case that Silvio Gesell's economic perspective is not only firmly grounded in reality, but also that its truth is self-evident. The challenge of promoting Gesell's ideas is much less about building up a complicated new theory, and much more about deconstructing the flawed, irrational ideas upon which our economic lives are currently built. Once all of the faulty assumptions and irrational beliefs are cleared away, the truth shines through in a way that is understandable to anyone. The Gessellian perspective does not require a PhD in economics to understand, nor do we believe that anyone should put their faith in experts or complex theories that are beyond the comprehension of ordinary people. In fact, we believe that every citizen needs to think for him or herself and to take ownership of their economic lives back from political parties and so-called experts. We believe it is everyone's responsibility to become economically literate, just as it is every person's responsibility to look after their own health and that of their families. So our mission is nothing less than to change the entire framework within which human society provides for its material needs. We view this mission as urgent. Our existing system is headed toward an economic and ecological cliff, but it's not too late to change course and build the foundations of a healthy, fair, sustainable future for ourselves and our children. We hope you will learn more about our organization by checking out our website and our various social media platforms. And if you feel motivated to support our work, we are set up to receive contributions via PayPal, Patreon, and Substack. Thank you.